What was your biggest "we need to leave now" moment? I was driving cross-country to college for the first time ever. My parents wanted to fly me out, but I insisted on driving myself. I wanted that whole independence thing, you know? Plus, I had way too much stuff to fit on a plane. By the time I hit rural Pennsylvania, it was past midnight and I was exhausted. My eyes were burning from staring at the highway for 12 hours straight. I needed sleep badly, but I was still like 3 hours from my planned stop. Then I saw this old motel sign flickering in the distance, the Pine View Inn. It looked sketchy as hell, but I was desperate. The whole place was basically falling apart, peeling paint, half the parking lot lights were out, and there was this weird smell like old cigarettes mixed with something else I couldn't identify. The front desk clerk was this ancient guy who barely looked up when I walked in. He had these thick glasses and kept scratching at a rash on his arm. I asked for a room, and he just slid this rusty key across the counter without saying a word. No credit card, no ID check, nothing. Just pointed down the hallway. Room 12 was gross. The carpet was this brown color that probably used to be something else, and the bed sheets looked like they hadn't been changed in weeks. But whatever, I just needed 4 hours of sleep and I'd be gone. I'd been in bed maybe 30 minutes when I heard whispering outside my door. At first I thought it was just other guests, but the voices were really quiet and intense, like they were trying not to be heard. Then I heard footsteps in the hallway that would start and stop right outside my room. Someone was definitely lingering there. I got up and peeked through the curtain, and I could see two guys in the parking lot having some kind of hushed conversation next to a beat-up pickup truck. That's when things got really weird. Through these paper-thin walls, I could hear people talking in the room next to mine. Most of it was muffled, but then I heard something that made my blood run cold. The kid in room 12, that was my room number. My heart started pounding. I pressed my ear against the wall and heard more whispers, but I couldn't make out the words. Then someone said something about after 3 and make sure he's asleep. I grabbed my phone to call someone, but there was no signal, of course. I started throwing my stuff back into my bag as quietly as possible. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely zip it up. The footsteps in the hallway came back, and this time they stopped right outside my door. I could see shadows moving under the crack at the bottom. Someone was definitely standing there. I waited what felt like forever until the hallway went quiet again. Then I crept to the door and slowly turned the handle. The hallway was dimly lit by these flickering fluorescent lights that made everything look like a horror movie. As soon as I stepped out, I saw them. The old desk clerk was at the far end of the hallway with two younger guys in hoodies. All three of them were looking straight at my door. The moment they saw me, I knew I was screwed. I ran, just straight up sprinted toward the exit. Behind me, I could hear chairs scraping and footsteps echoing off the walls. I fumbled with my car keys for what felt like 10 minutes but was probably 3 seconds. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped the keys twice. I could hear the footsteps getting closer. Finally got the door open, threw my bag in the back, and peeled out of that parking lot like I was in Fast and Furious. I drove for 2 hours straight without stopping, checking my rearview mirror the whole time. Didn't see anyone following me, but I was paranoid as hell. When I finally got to a normal hotel, I Googled the Pine View Inn. Turns out that place had been connected to multiple missing person cases over the past few years. The local news had done this whole investigation about people who checked in and never checked out.